I was very surprised when I was asked to play this, but I had been, John sent me a text saying, will you be in my film? I thought, okay, but what? And then he said, and I'm getting Phoebe, who had written Killing Eve. We'll all meet for dinner. So we went to Phoebe's house for dinner one night. We had a hilarious night. And I came out saying, yes, I'd be in the film. But I hadn't read it or anything. So I played the little girl's grandmother. And, the situation is very interesting, very modern in a way. She has to come and stay with her grandmother, who she has not seen for some time. So it's both a very classical situation and a very unusual, uncomfortable one for both the grandmother and the girl. I can honestly say I thought this was one of the best scripts I'd ever read. I think it's an absolute humdinger. And because in the middle of it is an active imagination, which anybody watching the film can plug into. Anybody, adults, children, everybody. And it makes you, like really good writing, it makes you long to be in the reality of the film. It makes you want to believe it. I think John Krasinski is brilliant at writing things about families, and his previous, much darker pieces are about families and the bonds in families. And in this film, there's a child. There's obviously the wonderful IFs, but there's mainly 3 adults who are floundering. They're just flawed. And I think, it's in that way a very grown-up film about what it is to be a child with adults. It's not in any way smoothing over any of that. And yet, the adults too are out of touch with their childhood. And of course, all adults are out of touch with their childhood and do better when they get in touch with it. The real engine of the imagination of this film is John, who's written it. And because there's no cynicism in any beat of the imagination that he's put into it. There's no cheating. These creatures are as real to him as you or I. And so his enthusiasm and his total logic abilities to place them, understand them, interrogate them, excavate the scenes, including them, makes you believe in it. In that way, I think that, I don't know whether, our imaginations are stimulated because we've still got to make the film, but I feel profoundly that it's going to ignite the imaginations of the viewer. John is unstoppable. I mean, he's, you meet him at the end of a week and he's just as enthusiastic as he was on Monday. He seems to never get tired. And I think in that way, his imagination is being fed by the film he's making. This cast, I mainly work with Cailey, my granddaughter, and she's a phenomenal actress, Cailey, because she has the ability, the calm, the wisdom, the control, and yet the kind of openness to be both playful and entirely responsible. So she's a very unusual person. Not everyone can do that. I think it's a film about the remaking of families who are challenged. And so it really is about the power of family and the power of the imagination. It's about the desolation of childhood, and it's about the warmth that the human brain can conjure.
Coming soon to theaters. You ready for this?